It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
Hey everybody, welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode number 97. Today is the 14th of September until midnight. And we got almost a full crew here today, so let's go down the list and say hello. So Hernan, starting with you, how's it going, man?
Hello, Adam. Hey everybody, it's really good to be here. 97 episodes. Woohoo!
Yeah.
We're getting
So why no webcam? I gotta ask, because when we talk, I see you know you got your cool clothes on and got a nice background. So why not today?
Well, I'm kind of shy, you know.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
I got it unplugged. I'll plug it and show my face in a bit.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Hey Marco, what's going on, man?
Hey man, what's up? No camera here either, man. I can't show you guys how beautiful Costa Rica is.
Yeah.
We need like Marco's weather webcam feed.
You have to come see it for yourself. Or I might just do my own rant mastery over there by the pool, take a few minutes every day and just say, hey, this is Costa Rica, man.
Outstanding. Oh man, Bradley, how's it going?
Good, man. Happy to be here. Kind of excited about, well, Hump Day Hangouts as always, but the 104th episode that's coming up. I know you're going to mention something about that. And then also, we got the ifttt v2 update webinar for the month of September is immediately following this webinar, Hump Day Hangouts today, and we're going to go through a ton of really cool updates, guys. So don't miss it if you're in the academy. If you're not, we'll go join. It's not too late.
Yeah, definitely. And if you are in the ifttt SEO Academy V2, you can go into the Facebook group, either one, new or old. I know we're doing the transition, and you can find the link there for the update webinar. And so I just wanted to say too, tomorrow, if you're not in ifttt SEO or you're not in the masterclass or the mastermind, tomorrow we're going to have a webinar at 3:30 for people who are interested, maybe have heard us talking about ifttt and are interested about what it can do for your SEO, for your marketing, for content syndication. All right, so we're going to put the link in here so you can sign up for that. It's going to be a short webinar tomorrow. We've had requests from people over time, and I think it's an hour to let you know. Yeah, be an hour to let you know more about it and what this is all about, what it can do, all that stuff. On top of that, like Bradley said, episode 104 is approaching. So for us, that's the big one. 100 is awesome. We're not, gonna ignore that. But for us, 52 weeks in a year, so 2 years would be episode 104. So we're definitely gonna have some special stuff going on then. So stay tuned. We'll announce that. But that's a few. What are we at? I think this is 97. So we got about 7 weeks. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. Other than that, what else did you guys have? I think we had some other announcements, unless I'm mistaken, but I wasn't sure exactly what they were.
Well, that's because we didn't have enough pre-planning time.
Yeah. Well, I guess
I don't have any other announcements. So.
Okay. Cool.
Anybody else?
I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be mentioned in the update webinar, Adam.
Outstanding.
For you. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to grab the screen, lock it on, make sure that we're good on the events pages. I guess we are. It looks like we are. And I'll try to blow it up, guys. It should be locked on my screen now. And let's see, why is that not? Oh, wrong button. That's why. All right, that should be better. All right, we're going to start at the bottom. Not too many questions as of yet, but we know stragglers like to come in. Let's see. The first one is from an unpronounceable name, and at least for us dumb Americans. It says, "Hi, I'm running 20 PBNs, all of theme different." Okay, maybe all on the same theme, or all themed, likely, maybe. I'm not sure. "Hi, I'm running 20 PBNs of all theme and different all aspects, no footprints. I would like to know if RSS syndication for those PBNs is possible." Yeah, of course. I mean, if you got PBNs, you should have no footprints. I mean, you should strive to have no footprints anyways, but there's no reason you can't. Even if you have footprints, you can still syndicate. I mean, my point is that, yeah, you can syndicate from PBNs because you just use the RSS feed as the trigger. If it has a feed. If it doesn't have a feed, then not really. You'd have to install WordPress on a subdomain or something like that in order for it to work. But yes, absolutely. Every time you make a post, it can syndicate out to branded network for that PBN, which is what I recommend that you guys do if you're building PBNs, is to, a brand can be a persona. A persona can be a brand, is what I'm saying. So either way, even if you have PBNs that are, pseudo companies, like fake businesses, so to speak, or fake blogs, or they could be, fake company blogs or fake, persona blogs. It doesn't matter. But what you want to do is just build an ifttt ring around it that's branded for that site, whether it's a blog, a persona, or a company website. It doesn't matter. Okay. So yes, a tier 1 branded network is perfect for PBNs. It's very, very powerful. It also gives Google a lot of the signals. Well, it injects a lot of the signals that it's looking for into the PBN to make it look more legitimate, guys. Remember, it's not just about the links and the social signals either. It's about validating the entity or the profile, the persona, right? All of the above. And so having those social rings around, I mean, again, think about it. If you guys go out and purchase an expired domain, and then you rebuild content on it, and put a couple articles on it with an outbound link pointing to your money sites, and then you never touch the damn thing again, and there's no connection to that site to anything else on the web other than its outbound links, then it's kind of suspicious looking, right? I mean, and all of you that are on this webinar right now are smart enough to be able to detect a PBN when you see it, if it's built poorly, which most of them are. So having an ifttt ring around it by itself isn't going to just make it safe. But, if you set it up properly and you put an ifttt ring around it and you publish content to it regularly or consistently, then it's going to kind of, hide the fact that it's a PBN somewhat, as long as it's built correctly as well, if that makes sense. Because you're kind of validating the site through the semantic properties, the social properties that we connect to it. But that was a good question. Dean says, hey guys, a quick one. I'm looking for a rank checker tool that I type a domain into and have it tell me everything that domain ranks for with positions, etc., without me having to put keywords into it to see where they rank. Does a tool like this exist? Don't mind paying if it does. Yeah, SEMrush does that, Dean. You can do that with SEMrush.
I forget too, does SpyFu still provide some of that too?
I never used SpyFu for that.
Yeah, it's been a while. I know they did paid, but I think anyways, it's worth checking out. I know it did at one point.
SpyFu was more of an AdWords tool, wasn't it? I think it's more of an AdWords.
Yeah, but they did have some organic stuff. Anyways, just something to check out.
But definitely SEMrush has that. So that's what I would recommend that you do. There's another one that, what's the guy from SEO Presser? Daniel Tan, I think. The guy behind SEO Presser, the plugin, Daniel Tan, I think he's got a cloud-based service that does that. It's got a monthly based, fee or whatever. But all I think that he does is tie into the SEMrush API. And so it's just basically a different interface, but it's the same data. So I don't remember the name of that program. Jay says, hey guys, I want to know if there's been a date scheduled for the second update webinar for people who bought VMB through the SM link. No, not yet, Jay. It's going to be several more weeks. I've got a VA that is in training, but he was actually working for me doing something else, and I had to wind that operation down or that project down. So he's still in training, and it's going to be several weeks before we have the systems and the processes in place, because if you were on the first webinar, I mentioned that I was going to have it to where it was, basically a completely outsourced process to using Video Marketing Blitz. And I don't want to rush the webinar and give you guys incomplete information. So if you have to wait a little bit longer, I think it'll be worth the wait. All right. Greg says, hi, when using curated content in posts, the curated parts have high keyword density. Okay. Keywords appear in quoted section title 4 to 5 times in the content, 1 time in attribution link, and again in the URL of image credit. So using 3 pieces of curated posts ends up with a keyword density of 25 and 900 words. Is there any solution for this? Yeah, Greg, stop using over-optimized content. I mean, maybe I'm not understanding the question, but I don't know where are you pulling content in that's stuffed like that? Remember, if you're curating content, you're pulling content in from other sources. So if you're pulling content from sources that is stuffed with keywords like that, they're probably not good sources to pull content from. That's all I can say. I mean, I don't understand where that level of density is coming from. Let's see. Keyword appears in quoted section title 4 to 5 times in the content. Yeah, that doesn't seem right to me, Greg. I'm not sure how you're coming across content that's that stuffed. one time an attribution link and again in the URL image credit. The image credit, why? I'm not sure. If you are creating the attribution link to credit the image, don't you have control over that? So why put the keyword in it? I'm saying whatever you have control over, Greg, if you've got that many occurrences of the keywords, you certainly want to edit it and reduce that. And remember, with curated content, guys, you can truncate what you curate. Does that make sense? So like, you don't want to copy a whole article and paste it in as curated post. That's against the DMCA, right? You don't want to do that. What you want to do is just grab a snippet. And if you read the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, it says there are certain parameters that are allowable, right? There's you don't want to go over, you don't want to grab like 3 or 4 paragraphs out of an article and curate that. You want to grab like essentially 1 paragraph or a few sentences, and maybe 2 paragraphs if they're short paragraphs, or just a few sentences out of a paragraph if it's a long one, if that makes sense. And all it is just to reinforce whatever point it is that you're trying to make, right? And so that's where your commentary comes in. And then you reinforce your commentary, your opinion, or the statement that you've made in your commentary with the curated article or the piece of content from the article that you're curating that reinforces that point, right? And that's all you need. So you can use the title and then just 1 sentence out of the curated article, and that's all you need. If it makes sense to your post to include more than just 1 or 2 sentences, then that's fine, but you got to think about it logically, and you don't want to use too much content. So the reason I'm saying this is because if you're using content that is way over optimized, then, which I don't know why you'd be using that content anyways, but if you were, then I would suggest just selecting, 1 key sentence to make your point and use that only. That way you're not editing the curated content, because you don't want to do that either. If that makes sense. But you're just grabbing 1 article, 1 sentence or a couple sentences, and it's going to be less likely to be stuffed if it's only 1 or 2 sentences versus a paragraph or 2. Okay? And again, anything you have control over, like your attribution links, image credits, anything like that, you control that. So just don't optimize them then. All right, posts are syndicating entire posts to OneNote as 1 large block of text, and it drops all credit links to the curated content. Will this be a problem? Do we need to add those links back in to the notes in OneNote? Thanks. Well, no. If it requires you to log back into OneNote and add links to every single piece of content that gets added to OneNote by ifttt, then there's no automation there whatsoever. So absolutely not. But if you're using the OneNote, you should be using the recipe for OneNote that creates a page from a link. And all it does is take a screenshot of the actual note. I mean, at least that's the way I think I had it set up. It's been a while since I've been in the, let's go take a look at that real quick, because I have the, here we go, the account template. There's a couple recipes for OneNote, so let's look at them. Okay, OneNote. This is YouTube to OneNote and then RSS to OneNote page from link. That's what you should be using, is the page from link. And what happens from the page from link is it should be like a screenshot image of the post, right? And it's just a link that links over to the actual post. So it's like the whole file is just a link that links over to your actual post that got syndicated. Because the post itself doesn't get syndicated, it should just be, at least if I remember correctly, it should just be like a screenshot of the blog post of like the whole web page. So, anyways, trust me, if you had to go into OneNote and actually add in the links after every blog post, it wouldn't even be in ifttt SEO Academy, because that's not how I do things. Okay, so I'm not sure where the issue is. You might have an earlier version. We used to have a different different OneNote recipe, excuse me, that would actually syndicate the blog post, but I removed that specifically from the 2nd version of ifttt SEO Academy because this was the better method. So I don't know, maybe double check your recipe, Greg. Maybe that's the problem, and if not, if you can clarify, we could take a look at it maybe. Jenia says, Bradley, in a previous Hump Day Hangout, you mentioned that you started using PPC for your lead gen business. Yes. Can you talk about how you track results? If I already have tracking number, would it be beneficial to get another Google provided number to track if PPC working? Any tips or things to avoid? Content Kingpin rocks, by the way. Would recommend it would recommend it or ifttt SEO to my mother if she had any clients. That's awesome.
That gets a plus 100.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just plus one it. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I'm doing a lot of PPC stuff, and that's what the whole local Kingpin training that launches next month is about. And I'm actually having really good results with it. And so, yeah, but the way that I track results is I use conversion tracking on the landing pages so that if anybody submits the web form, like the contact request form from the landing page, and then they get redirected to the thank you page, I got the conversion. That tracks, that counts as a conversion. And then also I'm tracking phone calls through the tracking phone number if they land on the landing page, because on the landing page is the tracking phone number. And I just use CallFire. And all my calls get routed into a call center, right? So I have I use AnswerConnect. AnswerConnect.com is my call center. So all my calls route into a call center, and then they get dispatched out to the proper contractor. So I end up having a record of it in CallFire, as well as a record of it from the AnswerConnect service, the answering service. Okay, but also what I'm doing is I'm using ad extensions, and I'm using the call extension in AdWords, and that will allow the phone number, a phone number, to show up in the actual ad, especially for mobile devices, and it's tap to call. And with that, I choose to use a Google Voice number. Google just arbitrarily assigns a Google Voice number that forwards to your whatever number you tell it to. In this case, my CallFire tracking number. And that's just in the event that a mobile searcher searches and taps the tap to call button from the ad itself without actually going to the landing page. Because if they go to the landing page, they're going to call the number on the landing page, which is the CallFire number. But if they call directly from the search results by using the tap to call button from the call extension, then it will track as a conversion in Google AdWords. Now, there are some call tracking and conversion tracking softwares for calling or for phones that integrate with Google AdWords. One of them is, I think, what's it called? Callrail.com. I think it's callrail.com. Let's see. No, that's not it. Whoops, I said CallRail. That's why. Try that again. Yeah, this is one of them. There's several of these basically phone conversion tracking systems that integrate with AdWords, and that's probably the better way to go. If I was doing, as I scale my lead gen business using AdWords, remember I just recently got into doing this, but as I scale it up, I'll probably end up investing in one of these services as well. But for the time being, I'm just using CallFire. My answering service, well, everything just gets routed to there anyways. And then if anybody does the tap to call from the actual search results, it's typically only going to be on mobile that happens. Then it registers as a conversion because I'm using the Google Voice number that AdWords will assign for that. If you're using call extensions, it's an ad extension. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I don't want that to confuse anybody. But let's see. If I already have a tracking number, would it be beneficial to get another Google provided number to track if PPC is working? Yeah, if you have it set up the way that I do, like if somebody lands on your landing page and they call your number that's already a tracking number, whether it's CallFire, Twilio, it doesn't matter, then you're gonna track that anyways. Although it won't register as a conversion inside of AdWords, right? Because AdWords has no way of knowing if somebody picked up the phone and called. Now I know that you can use these types of programs like CallRail, which will have like dynamic number insertion. So you can actually have different phone numbers for different ads or, all different kinds of things. And it's really, this is the advanced way to track. And excuse me, as I get better with AdWords, I'm sure I'll be integrating something like this. It doesn't have to be this particular service. This is just the one that I remembered. So you might want to look into that if you're going to be scaling up your business. Excuse me.
Yeah, I like CallRail because it actually records the call.
Yeah.
So you know exactly. I don't know CallFire. I haven't used that in a long time.
Yeah, CallFire.
But I like to know what conversation took place. This way, when I go for my check, the person can say, "Well, no, that wasn't a conversion, or that was a sales call, or whatever. That was spam," because it's actually recorded, so they can't get around it.
Yep. Yeah, CallFire does that. So. Okay, so the next one is Jamie. Jamie says, hey guys, I have some link wheels set up and running and was wondering if it would be wise or problematic to automate tier 1 links to the link wheels. So in other words, could I use the RSS feed from each of the link wheel properties with syndwire to automate another level of link building? Or should I make a blended RSS to automate via syndwire? Yeah, you can, absolutely, Jamie, because that's essentially what you're doing is building second-tier links. They're second-tier links to your target URL, right? Whatever you're trying to rank. But in this case, they would be first-tier links to your ifttt properties, right? But yeah, absolutely. In fact, I mean, that's basically that's the concept behind tiered networks. It's just you're asking about using syndwire. Sure, if you got syndwire, excuse me, that's where I would use syndwire as a second-tier link system or second-tier link builder. Because I don't use syndwire to link directly to my money sites. For YouTube videos, it's not bad. That's fine. But I don't use syndwire to link to money sites. I just don't do it. So with that, you could absolutely use syndwire to build links to your first-tier properties. And it's that's a good strategy for that. And if you have it, then yeah, you can absolutely do that. And you can do a separate, each one of your ifttt properties, tier 1 properties that have an RSS feed, an output feed, that would work. Okay, so you could essentially set up a different campaign for each one of those, each one of the ones that have an RSS feed. Some of them, though, like Delicious and Digo, those are just bookmark feeds. So like there's really no content there. You could do it. I'm just saying that, you know, just be aware that you don't want to spam your Web 2s and Syndwire with a bunch of just like bookmark links and that's it, because you can get your accounts terminated that way. So just keep that in mind, all right? Ivan says, Google my business page and map questions. By the way, wanted to mention, we're going to talk about this in the ifttt update webinar that's immediately following Hump Day Hangouts for you guys that are Academy members. But I did want to mention that right now, third-party logins has disappeared. The ability to create a third-party login for Google Plus pages and YouTube channels is, at least as of today, is missing. But it's coming and going. It comes and then it goes, and the process has changed from what was in the ifttt SEO Academy training. We're going to cover that today, but currently it's temporarily, at least I hope it's temporary. It's disappeared. It's not available, and so we're going to talk about that a little bit today, guys. I'm hoping it comes back soon. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the Google Plus interface changing, and like they're about ready to force everybody to the new version. And I think that's what's kind of causing the problem. So, all right. So to get back to Ivan, sorry, Ivan, is it possible to have a map that I created to show in place of the one provided by Google on the maps result for my business? If yes, what do I have to do to implement this? To have a map that I created to show in place of the one provided by Google on the maps results for my business? No, Ivan, I don't think so, buddy. The most that you can do for that is go to Google Map Maker, and in Map Maker you can edit the Google Maps or suggest edits. They're going to be moderated. But if you have some stuff that you want to update, like using Google My Maps is a map where it's a map that you create, you will not be able to replace the Google local search results with your map. It won't work. Okay? But you can edit or suggest edits to the Google local maps by going to Google Map Maker. And I mentioned this before on Hump Day Hangouts, but let's just go to it real quick. Go to Google Map Maker, guys. Every one of you should create or log in through your main profile into anybody doing local. You should log in as your main profile. Okay, so connected to your main primary Google account, and start suggesting edits around your own town. If you're doing, whether you're, you know, local SEO, if you do any sort of local stuff for clients or for lead gen, you should start building up your map maker profile. And the way you do that is by contributing, by suggesting edits, that kind of stuff. Be helpful. Find map markers for businesses that are misplaced, and then reposition them and suggest that as an edit. Suggest NAP updates for businesses that have outdated information, that kind of stuff. Because as you start to build up a reputation in MapMaker as providing you know, valuable edits and valuable suggestions, then you can end up being able to force changes very, very quickly inside of maps. And I've been able to, over the years, been able to fix some pretty heinous maps issues fairly quickly, within just a matter of, well, now it's within 24 to 72 hours, my edits usually are approved. And that's great, because if there's NAP issues or maps issues, sometimes that are really tricky, this is the only way to get it fixed. And the more you have built up a reputation as providing valuable suggestions, then the quicker your edits will get approved, will get moderated, if that makes sense. Okay, so I highly recommend that you guys just do it on your main profile. You don't want to hide anything. You don't want to do this under personas, because you'd have to build up multiple personas. Just do it on your main profile. Okay. All right, where on my website should I embed the Google map? Main page, sidebar, contact page? That's a good question. I usually just put the map, like it depends on the theme that I'm using, but if I have like a footer widget area, then I oftentimes will put a map in the footer widget. Sidebar is fine as well, although sometimes I think it clutters up the sidebar. It just depends on like how narrow your sidebar is, that kind of stuff. But almost always I put it on the contact page. And that's really where, like, if I didn't have it in a footer or a sidebar, then I would definitely put it on the contact page. Any suggestions on that, Marco, Hernan, anybody?
No, that's exactly what I do.
Okay. I was muted. Yeah, and the contact page usually works. I like to split test this anyways. Something like if you have kind of a widget rotator, I can remember let me look for the plugin for the widget rotator, which will give you exactly which kind of CTR is higher, conversion is higher on that end. I'll try to find it out and post it on the events page. So
okay, cool, thank you. Paul says, hey guys, I have a client that is just out of the maps pack number 4. Don't you hate that, Paul? I hate that. It's like pussyfooting around with the 3-pack. His competition is in the number 1 and 2 spot of the map pack. He obviously has someone doing SEO, because they have him on 2 different GMB pages, and the only difference is they reversed the name. First name, last name first. Okay, everything else is exactly the same. I want to knock him off naturally with me doing the RYS, but with the new Google change to the 2-pack, is there a way to get Google to do a manual review on this guy's listing? Just trying to take care of my client. Thanks. Paul, there is. And it's funny that you say that, because Wayne Clayton, oh, I'll be damned. And look, I didn't even know that he posted on this page. Wayne's in our mastermind as well. He just said something very similar. I saw it in the masterclass Facebook group, and it's kind of funny. You guys have pretty much the same question here. That's funny. Are you guys working for the same client? Because it's pretty much the same damn question. To be honest with you, I have never reported anybody to Google. Honest to God, I've never done it. And the reason why is I've just always felt like karma is a bitch, and she'll catch up to me if I do. And I've been known to spam some stuff myself. You know what I mean? And so because of that, I have just never, ever, ever done it. I know that you can submit that kind of stuff to Google, and they will do a review on it, because I've had it done to me by tree service businesses. But I've always ended up circumventing it and getting my listing back anyways, even if I had to build a whole new one. So, but I've never done it myself. But I know there is a way to do it. I just can't point you to it. I'm sure if you do some Google searches, you'll be able to find out how to submit a spam, complaint to Google. Okay. I just personally don't do that, guys. Like I said, it's just, to me, I've never done a negative SEO in my life. I've never done a spam complaint. I know you're just trying to take care of your client. I get that, Paul, but I would still, personally, I'm not knocking you for submitting a spam complaint either. That's not what I'm saying. It's up to you guys to decide what you want to do. But personally, I would just try to take them out doing positive SEO stuff for, not that submitting a spam complaint is negative SEO. I'm not saying that, but I would still just try to outrank them. Personally, that's how I would do it. But yeah, I know you can report it. I just don't know how to do it. I don't know the process, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know the process either, because I've never done it. I always go after them. They just piss me off enough, so I just take them down. That's how you got to do it, man. You just have to do enough to take, and you have everything in your arsenal, Paul, that you need to take this guy down a spot or two. I mean, whether it's citations, whether it's link building, some press releases, or whatever else you have to do. Another RYS stack won't hurt with, where you invert the business name like they did and push relevancy up to them. You know how to do it, man.
Yeah.
Just reach out to us and we'll take care of it, man.
And in fact, I think I misread. I just assumed. I saw the 2-pack in Wayne's comment here. This is not the same question as what Wayne posted in the masterclass. So I apologize, Wayne. I didn't read that.
That was the 2-pack, yeah.
Yeah, because this is what Wayne had said. He had asked if I knew about how to knock out spammer competitors in the niche, by doing spam reporting to Google. And I said, actually, I've never done that, not even once. I was always worried that bitch karma would catch up to me if I did. And he says, well, it's not like you're doing something wrong. No, I totally understand. And I just wanted to clarify that that's not what Wayne was posting here. That was my mistake because I didn't actually read the question. But just as a point, some reference, point of reference that this is what I was talking about was this thread here. And Wayne, just for your sake, I know it's not that you're doing something wrong for reporting spam. I just don't do it because I feel like I have spammed the web plenty. And I don't want people reporting me, so I just don't do it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Again, everybody to each their own. I'm not knocking anybody that wants to do it. I'm just telling you what my stance is on it, okay? So now we can get to Wayne's question properly. I have a client that was in a 2-pack with 2 businesses, 2 different names and phone numbers, but same address. Since the recent algo changes, the 3-pack they were in for their city disappeared. Their minor business of the 2 now seems to show up in the single pack listing called the knowledge panel. It shows only one business is played to the right side versus a 3-pack. Yes, I've seen that recently too a lot, Wayne. It's probably not going to remain that way. It's probably temporary, just so you know, because I've seen that as well. And then the 3-pack will come back. That's just kind of, I've seen a lot of shifting like that, especially in the last couple weeks. Okay, the main business now does not show in any 3-packs, even for other surrounding cities, but the major business listing does show in the other organic listings, just not the 3-pack. So, question is, what should we do for them using ifttt? We actually had accomplished this without the ifttt and was just starting the ifttt strategy when this happened. Or should we do ifttt first and then do RYS? My concern is showing too much activity and drawing G's attention. Sorry for the long worded question. Appreciate the input. Okay. It's funny. It says show less here, like you typed it in. All right. So first of all, I highly recommend starting off, and this is going to probably shock some people, but since you have RYS, Wayne, and you know about the process, even people that don't have RYS Academy, which would be a good time for you to drop a link, Adam, if anybody wants to go through. We have a webinar series that's free, guys, that you can register for that goes through a lot of the stuff that RYS Academy, we teach inside of RYS Academy. So if Adam drops the link, you guys, I highly recommend you go register. It's just a webinar series. You can register for it and just go through the webinars. They're all free. Of course, there's an offer at the end, but you can go through the webinars and you'll learn some stuff. Since Wayne has that, I would recommend doing RYS for any sort of local stuff when you're trying to rank maps. RYS just crushes it. Okay, and so I would suggest starting with that. But if you have an ifttt network, I would still connect the local pages, both of them, to the ifttt network for syndication points and start blogging, because the activity on those pages often helps those local listings to rank. Now, keep in mind, though, what I'm saying, Wayne, is I've seen, even for some of my own clients and some of my own lead gen stuff right now, a lot of shifting in the maps. Seeing what you're seeing. I'm seeing the 3-packs disappear, and it just shows one knowledge graph listing on the right side, which sucks. That really sucks. And I'm also seeing my maps listings disappear from the 3-pack, and then when you click the show more listings or show more whatever at the bottom of the 3-pack, it's not even showing in the available, what's available. So what I'm saying is I've got stuff that's been ranked, in any one of the 3 positions in the 3-pack, A, B, or C, that all of a sudden disappear, and then they don't even show up in the show more results, right? And what's interesting is those show more results, where sometimes used to have 3 different pages, now only have 1 page with only partial results. In other words, like the 3 pages might have had 34 listings, and now it only shows 7 listings in the in the show more results part, and there's no option to go to another page. And my listing, I've seen it recently, and I'm pretty sure that it just has to do with the changes that Google's making to both Google Plus, which affects maps, but also because they're going to be they're rolling it out already as we speak, paid maps listings. So it's pay-per-click for maps listings. And so that's in part, I think, why we're seeing so much volatility in the whole maps algorithm, because first of all, the Google Plus changes, which is quite significant to the whole search engine, the whole search algorithm as a whole, because Google Plus was ingrained so deeply into the Google search, and it looks like they're pulling it back out to some degree, right? So that is having a big effect on it. But then also, I know for a fact that Google is rolling out paid search listings in maps and in the 3-pack. And because of that, I think that's also causing a lot of weird stuff to happen to the maps listings right now. So really what I've told my clients is that they're just going to have to be patient. This is the problem with relying so heavily on one source of traffic, or, you know what I mean? That's part of the reason why I'm suggesting to all my clients to do AdWords now, and AdWords for video. And eventually I'll get into doing Facebook ads, maybe, or I'll just hire Hernan to do it. But my point is relying on just that one source of traffic. And I'm not saying you are, Wayne. I'm just saying that's what I'm telling my clients, is that, you know, basically you're just going to have to be patient until Google's done with the rollouts. There's not a whole lot that we can do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead.
I'd like to just respond to his drawing Google's attention comment. When you're doing RYS, you want to draw Google's attention. You don't want to draw Google's attention by triggering a panda penguin and by triggering the sandbox during the Google dance. But with RYS, you do want to trigger Google seeing that seed site or seed set that you've created inside RYS Academy. That's the whole purpose of that. The Google tickle, Wayne. You know the Google tickle, man.
He knows.
So that's the point. You go and you trigger that. You do everything that you're supposed to so that you draw attention to your listing the right way, instead of drawing attention to of the furry black animals that you don't want any part of.
Yeah.
But it's entirely okay to draw Google's attention the right way.
You got to tickle the G spot, the Google spot. That's how it works.
And the webinar went off the rails.
That's how you get results, guys. Tickle that G spot. Google loves it. All right, through the ifttt training, I was able to rank a live stream video from OBS to YouTube and rank number 8 in the world for a big keyword with about 2,500 searches per month, plus one that. I just built out a YouTube channel completely, added 5 networks, and blasted a few videos, and of course titled everything correctly. Thanks, guys. Great results, Greg. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that, man. Congratulations, by the way. Jan Measure says, I have a few strong PBN links to use for my RYS stack. Is it best to link to the folder or to the mymap, or maybe different properties in the stack? Had them all spidered to pass the juice around, but was curious if had any testing showing a best practice. Also, when linking to the stack, do you link to the goo.gl or the full naked URL? Thanks. It really doesn't matter if you have everything spider siloed anyways. I'll let Marco comment on it, but I mean, really, if you have everything internally linked properly, it's really not going to matter. Although I know we've tested running links directly to the mymaps is pretty powerful. So, but the same thing goes with even presentations. Like, I've had really good success using Google presentations and ranking those, but also using them to embed links within the presentation slides, and then just you know, blasting the hell out of those. So I don't think it really matters. But Marco, can you comment on that?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. I've seen people have success with all of the above, with trying different things. But yeah, my map is special. We all know that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get too deep into that. But since we do all of the things that we do to it, then it's really special. So is the spreadsheet, by the way. If you want to spread the love, because everything will be in your spreadsheet, and so if you push juice into that, it's just going to push out everywhere that's connected within that spreadsheet. So, I mean, really, it is. It's a spiderweb silo. That's the way to think about it. So you'll be spreading the love everywhere anyway.
Yep. And as far as the goo.gl or the full naked URL, again, it doesn't really matter. It's just a redirect. And since it's all Google properties, I doubt there's much loss, if any, because it's all under the Google umbrella. So it really doesn't matter. We just switch up the links for diversity's sake. That's all. Okay, Dean says, don't answer this if not got time, because I've already posted a question. Sites snackpack was third, then second. After geotagging images on the snackpack page and adding content, then did some embeds. Seems there was a Google update first week in September showing webmaster tools. Now snackpack is 4th or 5th and gone for certain keywords. Any activity in this area with you guys? Thanks, peeps. Yeah, Dean, refer to my answer to Wayne that I just gave to Wayne, because that's what I'm seeing, guys. A lot of volatility maps right now, and I've been doing this long enough to know there's really not a whole lot we can do right now until the dust settles, and that's just the nature of Google's algorithm. I mean, you can start, and Dean, I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying for everybody else here that when this kind of stuff happens, you can, jump through hoops trying to figure out what it is that's going on and trying to, fix it. But a lot of the times it's just the algo is like freaking out, and it's like a ripple effect. Like when you drop a rock into a pond, it creates ripples. Well, they make a change, and it's just this ripple effect that's going through. And until everything kind of settles and calms down, there's not a whole lot that we can do. So I usually give it a few weeks, because a lot of the times there's collateral damage that Google didn't intend. Almost every time they make an algo changes, any sort of significant update, this happens. And then what happens is they allow it to cause all this collateral damage for a few weeks until they fine tune it. And then they kind of dial it back a little bit, and things will start to come back to, like, a lot of the times listings, if they were optimized properly, which so far our methods have consistently repeated, have consistently always come back. Like, because, we always try to do what we think is going to provide longevity, right? Not short-term loophole ranking fixes. I mean, we use those too, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, we try to protect our money sites. You guys know the way we always talk about using ifttt as an SEO firewall and all that kind of stuff, right? We always try to do things to make sure that our properties will survive the updates. Although you will see some dancing and movement during algo updates, a lot, pretty much 90% of the time, whenever the algo update has settled and the dust settles, everything calms down, our listings come back to the same location that they were, or even stronger. Okay, and so that's why I don't even sweat it anymore. Like I get clients that call me and complain, and I just tell them, like, guys, this is the nature of Google. Like, sometimes we just got to wait till the dust settles, see what happens, and if there's significant drop even after everything is kind of settled down or calmed down, then I'll go in and figure out what it is, and we'll fix it. But until then, there's not really a whole lot you can do, because you could literally be chasing your own tail, running around in circles trying to fix something that really you have no control over. And that will send up that red flag that Marco talks about, and can actually sandbox your site.
Yeah, this is a really good example, because he says it was 3rd and 2nd. And then he went and geotagged images and on the snackpack page and added content. And then he did some embeds. And then, wham. It might not have been the update. It might have been that you triggered the Google dance and that you dropped to see what you were going to do next. And if you did anything while it was dancing, then you sandbox yourself. You could be sandboxed up to 70 days, or permanently, depending on how much you did while it was dancing. So the best thing to do when this happens, especially when it went 3rd to 2nd, is leave it alone. And especially when it went to 4th and 5th, leave it alone. You leave it alone for 21 days and see what happens. After 21 days, you take a look and see where it is. Then you can do something. But if you hit it while it's moving up, down, left, back, whatever, you're in trouble. And go read my blog post, the Google Dance Explained. And it's really simple to figure out, because Google tells you exactly what happens.
Yep. Okay, Jay says, hi, just a follow-up question regarding Video Marketing Blitz. What is the best practice, in your opinion, to keep the test accounts alive? I had 10 accounts and only tested 50 keywords, 5 videos in each account once, and 7 of them got suspended. All accounts had individual private proxies and Firefox profiles, Google Plus accounts, and some natural activity, and I made sure WebRTC was disabled. Well, Jay, I can tell you that there was a footprint left somewhere, or I don't know if you created accounts or if you purchased them, but there was a footprint left somewhere for that to have happened with only 5 videos for each account, and you had 7 out of 10 deleted. And the reason I know that is because I've had issues with some phone verified account providers where they deliver my accounts, and I go in and set up, like, for example, specifically with Video Marketing Blitz, the provider that was posted inside of the Video Marketing Blitz software, there was a provider for buying phone verified YouTube accounts, and there was also an option to purchase them with the API credentials. And I purchased them, and I purchased 50 of them, and 37 of them got terminated within 24 hours. And the guy, he and I argued back and forth because, long story short is I'll never buy another damn thing from that dude ever, and I can't recommend him to anybody either. But what I'm saying is, then I went to the guy that I recommended, MetroBiz or whatever, and I purchased 100 phone verified YouTube accounts without API credentials, but and then I had my VA create the API credentials, and we had 60 dedicated proxies. We only set up 60 of the accounts, and all of those accounts are still alive and well. And some of the accounts that I set up that I've done heavy testing on, for example, I've got 10 test accounts. If you remember the first BNB bonus webinar that we did, I showed some results, and I've been doing testing, and I was uploading as many as 15 videos per account per day, which I don't recommend, guys, but I was trying to get enough data for that first, and I was under a time crunch for that first webinar. I was trying to generate enough data for that first webinar, so I even broke my own rule and started spamming the hell out of those test accounts, and they are all still alive. And I'm talking, I did like 800 and some odd videos over the course of 7 days to those accounts. It's ridiculous, and all of those accounts are still alive. So there's a footprint left somewhere, Jay. I'm not sure where it was. It could have been from the provider. If it was MetroBiz, I can't imagine that's the case because I've never had an issue with his accounts. But maybe it was somewhere in your process of setting it up. Guys, I can't recommend this enough. This is where Browsio comes in. Browsio is specifically developed to solve these footprint issues. And when you're dealing with multiple accounts, multiple proxies, I'm telling you that remember, Simon and Browsio they've basically hacked the browsers to make sure there's no footprints whatsoever. Like they're custom Firefox and Chrome browsers inside of Browsio, and it's just incredibly powerful, guys. It's the Swiss Army knife of SEO tools, and you should absolutely be using it if you're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff like this. So I would highly recommend that you go check out the Browsio webinar that we did with Simon if you're going to be doing a lot of this, because that's going to solve some problems there. Everything that we've set up for Video Marketing Blitz has been through the Browsio software, the Browsio browsers, and we haven't had any of our accounts terminated yet, except for the batch that I bought from the provider recommended inside of Video Marketing Blitz, right? And that was a footprint issue on his part. So anyway, we only got time for about another 1 or 2 questions, guys, because Adam's already yelling at me in Slack. So, excuse me. Let's see. SpyFu does do that. Okay, cool, Clint. Thank you. SpyFu also. Okay, it's SEMrush. That's a +1. What else? Everyone should sign up as Bradley. Everyone should sign up as a Google Local Guide. Yes. Wayne is correct, guys. You'll see that the Google Local Guide come up on your mobile device, where Google will ask you to review and locations whenever you go places and stuff like that. Google will prompt you to give to answer questions about the location and all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of fun actually. I look forward to that when it shows up. But yeah, you should absolutely do that and try to work on even when you go to places and Google doesn't prompt you, just go to Maps on your phone, Google Maps, and then hit the location button, and it will pull up. It will prompt you then, especially if you are signed up as a local guide, and will start asking you questions about the location. And so you can get that's certainly going to help. That along with MapMaker is very, very powerful indeed, because you can build up your profile to be a trusted Google editor essentially.
Yeah, it's fun too, seeing some of the insane impressions some of that stuff gets. Yeah. Like I add pictures and stuff, and there's like picture of a sub shop, like it's got 50,000 impressions. Like what? Yep. That's pretty awesome.
Took a picture of my daughter eating a big stack of pancakes at Bob Evans when we were traveling earlier this summer, and that thing got like something like 30-some thousand views. It was ridiculous. Like I don't even know how Bob Evans is so popular that they get that many views, but. All right, let's see. Videos seem to be taking a backseat in search. What is your take on this water damage niche? Got hit hard. Yeah, Pete, it just depends, man. I mean, there are certain keywords that, especially broader type keywords, that just are almost damn near impossible to rank videos for. That's why I'll typically go for several longer tail keywords instead. And I know sometimes clients don't like that, but it is what it is. I understand there are just some keywords that are just absolute beast to try to rank for with videos, and they're just not worth it. And there's not really a whole lot you can do. All you can do is test, right? Each keyword's different. You can test, but what I do is if I've spent 30 days working on trying to rank a video to page 1 and I don't get it to page 1 in 30 days, I typically abandon that that particular keyword, and I will start working on other keywords. And most of the time, before I ever start, I've already got an idea of which keywords I'm going to actually go for, because they're going to be easier to rank for anyways. Like, I usually always do a poke test on a batch of keywords first, you know, and then determine which ones I know are going to be easier to rank. And then those are the ones that will be my fallbacks if the primary keyword is I'm unable to rank in 30 days. I usually don't spend more than 30 days trying to rank a video, guys. If it doesn't rank in 30 days, then I give up, move on to something else. It's not because it's too hard and I don't want to put up the work, but to be honest with you, it's not worth it. What is it, the risk versus reward type thing? It's not worth it. Like, to spend that much time and energy to rank one video, like, it's just not worth it for me. I'd rather go ahead and rank 3 or 4 videos for the same price for somebody else with longer tail keywords. Some people would absolutely deny that. They'll say unacceptable. I want this keyword and this keyword only. Okay, Mr. Customer, I can't help you then. You know? Or I'll say stuff like, let's set up some PPC campaigns, because like that's my fallback now. Really, is just going straight to AdWords stuff, man. Like, because it's just so much, you know, it's traffic on demand, right? Okay. Let's see, for your recommended provider, please. Sure, I'll be happy to. This guy loves it when I do this too, by the way, because he.
Yeah, real quick, while you're doing that, I want to say anybody who's trying to get into the Facebook groups and who is a member of ifttt SEO Academy V2, please log into the training area, and there's instructions on how to do that there. Okay, you can't just go to the Facebook group and request access. You won't get approved. So make sure you go into the training area, follow those instructions. Hernan recorded a video for you, and I typed out like step by step. It'll take you 2 minutes. So just make sure you do that.
This dude loves it when it was funny because I didn't even know this guy, guys. This guy, I didn't even know him. I just found it in Google and posted it inside the ifttt SEO Academy. And I even said in the training videos, I haven't used this guy yet, but I'm going to. And so anyways, I just want to let you guys know, it was funny because I ended up getting contacted on Skype by this dude, and he was just like, holy crap, how much? We've had so many orders come through, and apparently they're all coming from ifttt SEO Academy. What made you select me? And I was just luck of the draw, buddy. But he ended up being a very good provider. So he's who I use for all our phone verified accounts now. Okay. All right, guys, that's it. We're going to wrap it up.
I just wanted to mention Rico's testimony. Rico Suave, his testimonial. Finally got his lead gen site up, and following our advice, he's #1 in Gmaps in 1 day.
Nice.
That's pretty
Hi,
cool.
guys. Finally, I have my lead gen site operational, and it's set up with all advices from you guys. ifttt silo. Wish me good luck. Already #1 on Gmaps in 1 day. Fantastic. Woohoo! Awesome.
Nice.
Kick ass, dude. All right, guys. We'll see those of you that are in ifttt SEO Academy. The update webinar starts in about 5 minutes. Everyone else, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being here.
See you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.